GCE Level June 2021, Economics 2. Answer 5 questions, choosing at least 2 from each section. All questions carry equal marks. You are reminded of the necessity for good English and orderly presentation in your answers. What factors may lead to the outward shift to the production possibility curve? How can an outward shift of the production possibilities curve help in the management of the problem scarcity? What factors may lead to the outward shift to the production possibility curve? The PC curve can shift due to the availability of resources, such as capital, labor, and technological resources. It can shift due to a change in the number of these resources available as well as due to advancement, such as in tech or in educated labor. How can an outward shift of the production possibilities curve help in the management of the problem scarcity? Given the fact that resources are scarce, we have constraints, which is what the curve shows us. When the economy grows and all other things remain constant, we can produce more. So this will cause a shift in the production possibilities curve outward or to the right. Define profit and explain the different types. Profit is benefit realized when the amount of revenue gained from an activity exceeds the expenses, costs, and taxes needed to sustain the activity. Gross profit, total revenue minus the cost of goods sold, COGS. Operating profit, gross profit, minus operating expenses like rent, wages, and utilities. Net profit, operating profit, minus taxes and interest. Your take-home bottom line profit. What are the functions of profit in a market economy? Incentive for entrepreneurship and innovation. Resource allocation, market competition, and contestability. Profit incentivizes competition among businesses. Efficiency and productivity. Weeding out inefficient businesses. Capital accumulation. Revenue for government. Risk management. Distinguish between autonomous consumption and induced consumption. Induced consumption is the portion of consumption that varies with disposable income. When a change in disposable income induces a change in consumption on goods and services, then that change consumption is called induced consumption. In contrast, expenditures for autonomous consumption do not vary with income. Why has household consumption been on the rise in urban centers in Cameroon? Specifically, the rise in final consumption was supported by strong demand for goods in the grain and beverage industries, as well as forestry and logging. In addition, we learn the increase in demand for accommodation and food services, telecommunications, and transport helped support final consumption in the third quarter of 2021, in a context marked by measures to seriously mitigate the coronavirus pandemic. Distinguish between autonomous consumption and induced consumption. Why has household consumption been on the rise in urban centers in Cameroon? Explain the various ways by which the government of your country can control the supply of money. Why do governments control the supply of money? Explain the various ways by which the government of your country can control the supply of money. Influencing interest rates, printing money, and setting bank reserve requirements are all tools central banks use to control the money supply. Other tactics central banks use include open market operations and quantitative easing, which involve selling or buying up government bonds and securities. Why do governments control the supply of money? At the macroeconomic level, the amount of money circulating in an economy affects things like gross domestic product, overall growth, interest rates, and unemployment rates. The central banks tend to control the quantity of money in circulation to achieve economic objectives and affect monetary policy. What are the barriers to growth in developing countries? Suggest policies that can be adopted to encourage growth. What are the barriers to growth in developing countries? The primary barriers to economic growth in developing countries include inadequate infrastructure, corruption, poor education and health systems, and political instability. Suggest policies that can be adopted to encourage growth. Demand-side policies include fiscal policy, cutting taxes, increasing government spending; monetary policy, cutting interest rates; supply-side policies include prioritization, deregulation, tax cuts, free trade agreements, free market. Supply-side policies: improved education and training, improved infrastructure. Interventionist supply-side policies